I'm gonna be honest with you. A lot of comics come up here and talk bad about the pandemic, but I always look at the positive in everything. I didn't see the pandemic as being locked in my house or being stuck at home. No, I saw it as the longest Thanksgiving weekend ever. That's all it really was, right? Every night I ate till I couldn't walk. I got blacked out drunk. And I fell asleep watching Netflix. My wife just got a Paramount Plus account, so I'm ready for another year. I love Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving's magical, right? It's that one time a year you can get the whole family all under one roof and realize why you moved out. I was at the Thanksgiving table just last year looking across at my brother-in-law, you know, wondering why bipolar people never have two awesome personalities. And he passed out. He was passed out at the table. My mother-in-law makes excuses for him. Oh, it's the tryptophan in the turkey. It's the tryptophan. It makes you sleepy. It's in the turkey. I'm like, really? It's the tryptophan in the turkey? You sure it wasn't the tryptophan he scored behind the 7-Eleven a half hour ago? Tryptophan in the turkey? That doesn't even make sense, right? Sir, I know you've seen a turkey in the wild. Yeah. How could they make you sleepy? How does it go from the Roadrunner in a fat suit to Valium on a whole wheat bun? I love Thanksgiving so much during the off season. That's what I call the rest of the year. I go to diners and restaurants all over this country, and I always order the same thing: Thanksgiving on a roll sandwich. These things are amazing. It's just like Thanksgiving dinner, right? They pile it with turkey, mashed potatoes, stuff it. They'll even put cranberry sauce on it. Oh, diner in my neighborhood, so authentic. If you order the deluxe, it actually comes with a drunk uncle. And he calls you a big sissy for missing that catch your senior year, so. Just like being home. Holidays are fun again at our house. We have little kids. I have a 7 and an 8-year-old. They make everything so much fun, right? That Halloween, because of the pandemic, they changed the rules a little. We didn't send the kids door to door. They decided to do a thing called trunk or treat. You guys have that here? What are we teaching our kids? Hey, everybody, let's get dressed up so no one will be identified. We'll all go meet at the Walmart parking lot, and we'll send our children over to strangers' trunks in the promise of free candy. Go ahead, Billy, keep digging. It's probably under the spare tire. I grabbed my 7-year-old. I said, you see that white van over in the corner? Yeah, I heard they had puppies. Want to go pet a puppy? Go pet a puppy. Just don't say trick or treat. Say it puts the lotion on the skin. You guys are a sick crowd, and I love it. I love it. Love it, love it. My kids get so excited for Halloween. September 1st, Halloween Spirit opens. September 1st at noon, my kids are kicking down the door in full costume. My 8-year-old kicked down the door. He comes walking in. He didn't dress like Spider-Man. He was Spider-Man. He's doing the walk, the whole thing. I came music. I was so excited for him. I started going, Spider-Man, Spider-Man, does whatever a spider can, spins a web any size. He got radioactive eyes. Look out! Here comes Spider-Man. Yeah, kids went nuts. Oh, the kids went nuts. They thought I made the song up. They're like, Dad's a genius. That's right, your dad is a genius. Little one's like, all right, do me now. He was dressed like Superman. I was like, uh-oh. Superman doesn't have a song, right? And they're like, well, make one up. I was like, all right, Superman does whatever a super can. Sweeps the halls every day. Comes around when it's time to pay the rent. Here comes Superman. I'm glad you laughed. The kids hated it. I'm married. Married people here? Married people in the house? Yeah. I love my wife. She took my name when we got married. Her name, Angelina Marie Riccadonna. Yeah, that's loosely translated into meatball dago parmesan. I'm Italian, but I'm normal Italian. I was born in Ohio. I moved to New York. They loved me. Oh, New Yorkers love being Italian, even if they're not. Shane O'Malley McGillicuddy hears my name. He's like, oh, Riccadonna, paisana, goomba. And I'm like, no. I'm from Ohio. Lived in New York for a long time, Angie and I. We moved out. Moving out of New York's hard because New Yorkers can't believe you would ever leave New York, right? We told our neighbor, we're like, yeah, we're moving out. You're gonna leave New York? Where will you go? There's a whole other country. Other side of that bridge. We were looking at Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania? What are you, Amish? Yes, that's how it works now. You cross the George Washington Bridge, you churn your own butter. That's what we do. I miss parts of my old neighborhood. Mostly miss my landlord. The landlord was awesome. I don't know where he was from, but all I know is I lived under his roof for 15 years, and I don't think he knew my name. Every time I talked to him, he just called me my friend. I'm like, that's genius. You just call everybody my friend? Greatest day in my life is the day I made him so mad. He goes, you are not my friend, my friend. I know we talk a little bit about, religion and so on, and I'm Catholic. It's kind of a boring religion. This guy's religion, he believes when you die, you could come back as an animal. How exciting is that? Right? If you could come back as an animal, sir, what would you be? You can pick anything. I have no power. What would you be?
Elephant.
An elephant. That's a good one, right? Big trunk, good memory. I like it. When I was younger, full of testosterone, I used to say grizzly bear. Right? I'm a big guy. I'm hairy. I love the outdoors. Older I get, Cocker Spaniel. Yeah, 'cause if you have food in front of you and you're not looking, I'll try to eat it. Anybody wants to rub my belly? I'll let you. My wife's always like, you shouldn't say that. What if after a show, a woman tried to seduce you? I said, look at me. No woman wants this. Turns out, though, in the gay community, I'm a fetish. That's right. They call fat, hairy guys bears, so living a childhood dream. I had a guy get really mad at me once. I did that joke. You came with me on that. That's cool. Guy yelled at me. He goes, yeah, you're probably for gay marriage. I have no problem with gay marriage, except you called it gay marriage. Pretty sure it's been legal so long, they just call it marriage, right? Like, I don't do that. I don't tell people I met my wife at a straight bar. We've been straight married 14 years. I saw some light bulbs go off there. What's a straight bar? Applebee's. So I got a 7 and 8-year-old at home, and love being a dad. I love everything about being a parent. My favorite part of being a parent is definitely making them. the best 2 minutes of my life. I am not gonna lie. I love being a dad, man. Those two kids, I can't believe it though, they're only 1 year apart. They're only 1 year apart, and these two kids are completely different. Like the older one, he's a mini-me. This kid looks like me, right? He's got the big curly hair, a beard. He's a good-looking kid, you know? The little guy, oh, he's just like my wife, you know? Just mean. Beard. Way thicker than mine, you know, because she's Sicilian, so that comes in thick. Married a Sicilian girl, yeah. You got Italians and then you got Sicilians, right? Like, you marry a Sicilian girl, you better do the right thing, you know? I asked her mother first. Great move. She was like, Mark, whatever you do, don't buy a ring. Angie wants her great-grandmother's ring. It's a family heirloom from Sicily. Do not buy a ring. And as a guy, I'm thinking, oh yeah, I don't have to buy a ring, you know. Of course, the hard part, you know, was getting 4 guys to help dig up Grandma. I'm kidding. We used a backhoe. I have very soft hands, sir. I'm what you would call a house cat. Yeah, I got the two boys. They're so much fun. I actually, the whole process when my wife got pregnant was just mind-blowing. I can't believe how much work goes into everything. My wife told me we had to take classes. I said, what do we got to take classes for? She goes, well, to teach me how to breathe. Angie, you're 35 years old. You should have that down by now. I mean, I'm self-taught. I've been doing it my whole life, but not an expert. And she goes, no, you got to take the class. So we went in. I take the classes. The day comes, right? The day comes, and no matter how much they talk to you, you're not prepared. We run in there. We rushed into that place. I almost got into a wreck on the way to the hospital. But once we got in there, we got her on the table, and we started doing our breathing, right? We're breathing with her nonstop. We were breathing so much that I actually started to hallucinate. I thought, you know, after about 10 hours, I was exhausted. I was like, let's go home. We'll sleep it off. We'll come back tomorrow. They're like, no, once she's on the table, she's there till the baby comes. It's hour 18, hour 19, hour 20. I'm like, oh! Help me! I'm so exhausted, right? And I'm breathing, I'm hallucinating. I turn and I look and I see the hospital doors fling open like an old saloon door in a Western movie, just. And this guy comes walking through. Now, we're all in blue scrubs. This guy's in black scrubs. I was like, ooh. He comes walking up to my wife. And he stands in front of her, and she's naked, spread eagle on a table. And he's looking at her like he's about to make an estimate on a used car. There is some damage, but I can work around it. All right, now when I say 3, I want you to push low. 1, 2, 3, and a baby came out. I'm like, this guy's the womb whisperer. He picks up the baby, it's a boy, and he goes over to this other area. I've never witnessed anything like this in my life. I can't believe what I just saw. I look up, and there's my wife, tears coming out of her eyes, sweat coming down her forehead. I run over to her, I grabbed her by the hand, her right in the eye, and said, oh my, that doctor was amazing. You're not supposed to say that. The nurse stopped a murder from happening that day. She stepped right in between us. She goes, we're going to take you to get stitched up. Why don't you go meet your son? I turned and I looked, and there he was. They already had him wrapped up. He looked like a little burrito. They had him on top of this big metal table. He looked like a deli tray, you know, and there was a little French fry lamp on top of him. And I was so hungry. And I walk over to meet my son for the first time, and I realize there's a guy filling out the birth certificate. And I thought, aren't we gonna sit at a big table with a guy who looks like Santa Claus and a feather pen and fill out the birth certificate all together? He's like, no, man, filling it out now. You the dad? Yeah. He goes, you got a name picked out? And I thought to myself, ooh. I'm the only one here. I can name this kid anything I want. Then I thought about it and remembered how mean my wife was, so I stuck to the plan. We named our first son after my father's father, so we called him Grandpa. It's a family name. Our youngest son hates his name, little Grandma. Not a big fan, but we did name our kids after our grandparents. My grandfather, at a very young age, told me I can do anything I want with my life, and I had a teacher in high school tell me different. I make my living as a writer. I failed English in high school. I failed it because we had to write a paper called the Shadow Report, and the Shadow Report is where you follow the person who has a job you want for the rest of your life. You write a paper. My teacher failed me because I followed my grandfather. And according to her, retirement isn't a job. But I did that bit on TV. I did that bit on television. And my wife was 9 months pregnant when I did it again on TV. So we went in to meet the new doctors. And as we walked in, the nurse looks at me and goes, I've seen you before. You know, you've never seen me. This is my first time here. She goes, no, you were on TV the other day. You did the bit about the childbirth? Oh, yeah, that was me. She goes, don't worry, this time it's going to be very different. Is that a threat? She goes, no, your wife, she's scheduled for a cesarean. So tomorrow, you're going to come in at noon. You'll be a father by 12:30. That sounds great. She goes, just whatever you do, don't Google cesarean. You can't tell somebody that. It'll drive you nuts. I couldn't sleep the whole night. I'm tossing and turning. Why would she say that? I Googled cesarean. I should not have Googled cesarean. What basically comes up is the last scene from Braveheart. Tomorrow I'm gonna watch my wife go, they can't take my freedom! So now I wanted nothing to do with it, right? I wanted nothing to do with this. The alarm goes off, she wakes up, I'm over the bed, I go, hey! You're allowed one person in that operating room. I think you should take your mother. She's Sicilian, probably has her own knife. I've seen The Godfather. These people aren't afraid of blood. She goes, no, you're coming with me. They brought me in there. I was so scared. I was pale. I was nervous. I'm sweating. We walk in. They actually push my wife out of the way to get a wheelchair for me. They put me in a wheelchair and wheeled me away from her, going, don't worry, it is so safe. It is so safe, Mr. Riccadonna. They're telling me how safe it is as they started to dress me like the people who stole E.T. from Elliot. I'm in a full hazmat suit with the mask, the hair thing, paper over my boots. They go to wheel me back to the operating room, and the most emasculating moment of my life happened here. Little 60-pound nurse leans in and goes, I think it would mean a lot to your wife if you got up and walked in on your own. I stood up. I walked in that room. This time, they had her on the operating table, but they had her, like, tarped off, like they were giving her an undercoating at Mako, you know? I walk right up to her and I go, I think we need to go back to the other way. She goes, it's too late. It's too late. I go, what do you mean it's too late? What, is a magician going to come in, cut her in half, pull her apart, put her back together? They go, no, it's too late. And we hear a baby crying. I go, he's here? They go, he's here. You want to meet him? Come around the corner. Just don't turn right. So I'm like Zoolander coming around the corner. I come around the corner. They're holding the baby up like they caught a fish. Got the baby! But he was perfect, right? Because he's a cesarean. They just take him out. He didn't squeeze out naturally like the other one. Oh, he was disgusting. His head was all pointy. It's like, is it going to pop back into shape, or do you grab his foot and... I don't know how that works. done a lot of dumb things in my life. Probably the dumbest thing I ever did is I went skydiving. Anyone here ever been skydiving? A couple of you, yeah. Neither of you would need to know this, but there's a weight limit. Did you know that? Yeah, I did not. I didn't know. I'll be honest with you, I didn't even want to go skydiving, but my friends had pot. I showed up. First thing you do when you skydive is you have to sign paperwork that basically says that if you die, you won't sue. I'm not a smart man, but that doesn't seem like a good deal. I don't get the sign though, because as soon as I walk in, the lady behind the counter looks at me and goes, "Excuse me, could you get on the scale?" I go, "What?" She goes, "Just get on the scale, standard procedure." Nobody else had to do it. In front of everybody, I walk up, I step on a scale. She comes up with her clipboard, looks and goes, "Close enough." Close enough? We're jumping out of an airplane. I don't need my chute going. She's like, "Don't worry about it, go out back." We're in Long Island, which if you ever go there, they don't do things by the book. I went out for my safety instructions. It was a guy with a purple mohawk blasting Bon Jovi at full blast. And I liked the song, so I didn't hear a word he said, right? I walked out and saw a guy go, "We gotta hold on, ready or not." "All right, get on the plane." I was like, I missed everything. I see a line form, I figure that's what we're doing, right? Everybody's in line, so I stand in, and as I'm standing there, I see guys come out, right? And these guys have the parachutes, and they drop them on your feet, they look you up and down, they hit you on the shoulder, you get on the plane. I'm the last one. So as I'm standing there, a guy comes out with a parachute, drops it on my feet, hits me on the shoulder, and goes, "You're way too fat to jump out of this plane." I go, "Too fat to jump out, too fat to jump, too fat to jump." Look, I know I'm built for a lazy river tube ride. But too fat to fall? That goes against everything I know. He goes, "I'm the jump master, my rules." I was fine with leaving. I didn't even want to be there in the first place. So I start walking away. My friends are on the plane, and they want me on the plane. So my one friend sticks his head out in front of everybody at the airport and yells, "Hey, didn't we used to parachute tanks out of planes in World War II?" There's about to be a fight. I start walking toward that plane. The lady who let me through sees this all happen. So she comes running out. She's like, "Sir, I feel so bad. I tell you what, I'll give you and your friends a full refund. And I know another place down the street. They let fat people jump." My friends are like, "Let's go Operation Dumbo Drop." We go to this next place. I'm telling you, it's horrible. It's a gravel driveway. There's a little card table with a guy who looks like Tony Soprano. You hand Tony $300 and he goes, "Get on the plane." That was it. I didn't feel safe, but I did it. I hand him the money, I start walking toward the plane. I'm gonna tell you what I saw, then I'm gonna tell you what happened. What I saw was, I hand the money, I turn, and I see a guy starting the airplane. I'm not judging him, but he was missing part of his hand. And he's there going, and I'm waiting for a little kid to come out with a remote control, That's what I saw. Now what happened was, I hand the money and I start walking toward the plane. My friend's girlfriend is going, "When's the plane take off?" I go, "I don't know." "Well, when are you jumping?" "I don't know. I want to take a picture. How do I know when to take a picture?" I go, "Apparently, when the sun's blocked." I'll be on my way. We get on this plane, I'm telling you, I sit down, a defeated man, okay? This was a while ago. I lost a lot of weight since then. I was a lot bigger back then. I weighed 250. I'm only 248 now. And, yeah, you wouldn't even recognize me back then. But I sit down defeated, and I look over at my friend. My friend's a stereotypical Long Island guy. Got the spiky hair, skin-tight shirt. Go, yeah, bro. Can't wait to jump, bro. This is gonna be awesome, bro. I sit down next to him defeated, and all of a sudden it dawns on me, I don't have a parachute. I look over at him, he doesn't have one. So I figure he knows what's happening. I act calm. Go, hey, where's the parachute? He goes, oh, don't worry about it, bro. We're jumping tandem. I don't know what that means. When you jump tandem, it means there's another dude. He's tied to your back. He got the parachute. I don't like the sound of that. He goes, don't worry. I look out the window. I see a guy coming toward the plane, and he's in a full spandex suit, carrying this parachute. I know this is my guy. But he gets on the plane, he takes one look at me, 250 in a bowling shirt, looks at my buddy, you can see his nipples through his Ed Hardy t-shirt. I don't exist anymore, right? He pushes me out of the way, he's like, hi, I'm Duncan, I'll be your jump instructor. I was like, get him, Duncan! Duncan gets down behind him, he starts putting straps on his shoulders, but my friend's homophobic, so he takes the straps off of his shoulders. This goes on for like 3 minutes. I hit him, I go, Dunk, forget about the straps, you just hold them real close. You guys are gonna be fine. Plane takes off, I'm telling you, we're in the air. They open the window, the doors, and the wind's whipping around. My guy yells, all right, everyone up! And when I stood up, I heard him go, ooh. You're a big boy, aren't you? I get it, I'm fat, we've covered this. He goes, you're not fat, you're short. Your weight, it pulls on my back, it hurts when we walk. We're first to jump. So what I need you to do is get down on all fours. You gotta be kidding me. He goes, no, we're first go, so in front of everybody on this plane, I get down on all fours and crawl with a strap to my back. So he's there like, just a couple more feet, sir. We hit the edge of this plane. I'm telling you, I'm looking death in that face. I'm 3 pieces of cloth from being in a committed relationship. And that's when I realized they're videotaping this. There is a man with a video camera in my face, taping the whole time. I didn't want that video. My friends bought the video. They played it in front of my father at Thanksgiving. There's nothing worse than seeing you and another man crunched up together. He looks right into the camera and goes, high fives Duncan, points back to the camera and goes, and I scream like a little. We must have waited a lot because we went out, the plane shot up 400 yards. And as you're falling, you see how big the world is. You realize how small we are. Life comes into perspective, right? I've never felt this good about life until I heard the instructor yell, do you remember your instructions? No! He goes, don't worry, it'll all come back to you. 1, 2, 3. I'm like, we gotta hold on. Ready? Oh, he was mad. This guy had to pull the chute for me, so he reaches up, rips the chute goes flying up. I have no idea your weight, his weight, come down the 2 straps, located right here. You probably prepared. Papa Bear didn't properly move or talk, so my video looked like this. Drool shoots out. I then blacked out. video, you can hear him going, I can see my house. We're like 100 yards from the ground. He shakes me awake. He shakes me awake. I cut up. He goes, when we hit the ground, I'm going to yell one of two things. I'm going to yell slide, which is put your feet up, slide right into a landing, or I'm going to yell run, which means run. I got it. He goes, you ready? I go, ready. He goes, run. I go, ah! By the time we got to the ground, it was just... He landed on top of me. After watching that video, I realized I need to lose some weight. Anybody else put on weight during the pandemic? I put on 45 pounds. All right, fine, I did it 6 years before the pandemic, but I gotta lose weight. The problem is I love eating too much. I hate exercise. Called my friend. He's a guy who gets people in shape for movies. I go, Matt, I gotta lose weight. He goes, don't worry, Mark, it's easy. You wanna lose weight? All you have to do is diet and exercise. And I was like, I know I said I would do anything, you know, but I won't do that. I just love eating too much. I love eating so much when I go to the bathroom, my butt actually goes, that's how much I love eating. I'm not an exercise guy either. No. I see a guy like you, it looks like you probably hit the weights. I see a guy like you, I avoid you. Because anytime someone works out, they want to fill you in on what they're doing. Oh, bro, I got up at 5:30 today. I was working on my chest. I am sore. And I'm like, stop going. I slept till noon. I feel great. Worse than the gym guy, the marathon runner. Horrible human beings. They only run in marathons to get shirts to let you know they ran in the marathon. I was in the dry bar 5K. Who cares? And they always act like they did it for a big cause. Well, I ran to help cure polio. Or you could have just gave the money. There's no child in the hospital right now going, if he just ran one more mile. Oh. We have a pet dog. I love my dog. We dog people here? Yeah. I wanted a big tough dog, right? Manly dog, protect the house. My wife goes, you can get a rescue. I said, that sounds fine with me. Called the ASPCA in Queens. Said, my wife said I can get a dog. They said, great, as soon as we find one, we'll call you. I hang up. I don't think nothing of it. 3 minutes later, the phone rings. We found a dog. He was in the middle of the Cross Bronx Expressway. Do you want him? Oh, you found him on the expressway. Got a couple questions, like, question number one, is this a living dog? They said, yeah, we actually had to take him off. He climbed up on a cement barrier. We had to wrestle him off. We got him back here. We brought him back. We're going to put him up for adoption. I said, don't. I'll take him. I figured it was the Bronx. I was getting a pit bull. Getting a Rottweiler. I got a Shih Tzu. Named Gizmo. But he got street cred because he's from the Bronx. This dog does have street cred, man. The first thing I did, I brought him home. I took his collar off. He ran into the bathroom. He peed on the bottom of the toilet. My wife didn't even get mad. She's like, you don't even do that good. You guys have been amazing. Enjoy the rest of your night.